Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to Off the Puck Podcast, episode 18. And we have got a special guest from the Kitchener Rangers, drafted to the New Jersey Devils, a big defenseman, 6'3". We got a funny story to tell about myself coaching him and completely forgetting, but luckily I have evidence. Michael Vukojevic, how are you, brother?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks
I'm good. Yeah, I'm excited, man. It's always great to have a local guy on, and I know a lot of people are excited about having you. So I got a few questions from some of my Kitchener Rangers contacts that want to just want a couple answers out of you. So, how's the summer been, and how has your quarantine been?
It's been good. The season cut short in March, and it was a little upsetting that we didn't get to finish the season. We had a good team, so we were hoping to make a big push, but it got cut short. So back home and almost right into summer training. So it's been good. Been on the ice, back in the gym. Social distancing as much as I can, kind of staying home as much as I can. It's been good, but really dedicated to hockey this summer.
Good for you. And where are you living? Are you living in Kitchener?
No, I'm in Georgetown.
You're in Georgetown. Okay, nice.
Yeah, so working out in Oakville, Mississauga, skating there too. So it's worked out well for me.
Perfect. So tell us a little bit about your playing background, where you started. I know you were a Rebel, which back in 2016. So kind of talk to me about the GTHL and how it's kind of groomed you to be the player you are today.
Yeah, I played my whole minor hockey career in the G for the Rebels. We had the same core group of guys the whole way through. So it was awesome. We grew together and we were a really close team. So we had a lot of chemistry. So we had a lot of success. Won a bunch of championships. We had a good team, and a couple guys, went on to do great things. A couple guys in NCAA now, and a couple other guys in the OHL. So, great development there.
Perfect. And who was coaching you at the time?
Paul Jackson.
Sure. What kind of impact did he have on you as a player? What were some of the things that he said, told you as a player, and obviously having good size and good speed, and what were just some of the traits and the characteristics he wanted you to be to make you a better player?
Oh man, I think he taught me everything I know about the game. I played for him since I was 5 years old. So.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. So my whole life I played for the same coach. So I was really fortunate for that. Not having to switch coaches and get used to new coaching styles. He pretty much taught me everything I know from a young age, and then he was just great for me, and really helped my transition to junior really easy, because he played pro hockey for a bunch of years, and he's a great pro. So I think teaching me from a young age how to be a pro and how to be a mature player and a mature person, I think I really learned a lot from him, and a lot of my success is owed to him.
Now, one of the things I love about you, obviously just looking you up, and you played with the Georgetown Raiders for a few in the OJ as a call up. But what I really like is the move to the USHL and playing for Green Bay. You only played 12 games though, so talk a bit about that experience going to the USHL and then eventually coming back to the OHL.
Yeah, so I was committed to the University of Michigan, and then played a couple games for Georgetown after the minor midget season, and went on their playoff run with them. And we came up short in the Dudley Hewitt, but we won the league, so that was great success there. And then the following year, decided to move to Green Bay, and they drafted me in the USHL draft. So to play there for my 16, 17-year-old year before going to Michigan was the plan. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and it fell through to, decided to, relocate and play for Kitchener. And, great time in Green Bay, just didn't work out. And, playing in Kitchener really helped me and, evolved me as a player. And I found great success there, especially in our first year. We made a long playoff run. We were a goal away from being in the OHL championship. So, it's a little different route, but it's worked out this far.
It's great. And now, talk a bit about the USHL and the OHL comparison, because a lot of Canadians obviously don't know about USHL hockey. What's the style difference? Do they get fans? Is there, what's the support like in the area?
Yeah, we had a great fan base in Green Bay. We had a great rink. We seated almost 10,000 people. So we'd get around 4,000 a game. So we had great fans, great support in the city. We were kind of a big deal in the city, same way in Kitchener. And then, the league's it's a different league than the OHL in terms of travel and, schedules and the style of play. It's more of a north-south, grind hockey. And the OHL is more of a skilled game, in my opinion, and what I've felt and played through. Yeah.
Awesome. So now you're in Kitchener. You've been here for the last 3 years. Talk to me about the coaches and some of the changes that have happened over the last couple of years. But now you've got Coach Mike McKenzie, and what's his impact been on you as a player?
Yeah, so going back to my first year, our head coach was Jay McKeon. Our D coach was Dennis Weidman, two NHLers with, close to 1,000 games. And I mean, huge hockey backgrounds, and they know what it takes, and they stayed at the NHL level for a while. So, really learning day in and day out from them and what it takes and what kind of player you have to be and what kind of things you have to do. I mean, huge help for me, and you can't buy that experience that they have.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they really kind of took me as a player and what kind of player I was, and got me to focus my attention to that and, what's going to make me successful and what's going to help me get to the next level. And then, we have Mike McKenzie now, who's also our GM, and he's a little different coaching style, but I mean, he's also been great for me. Really trusts me as a player, and I really trust him as a coach. So having that relationship really helps both of us and allows me to be the best player I can be for myself and, help the team a lot. And if he relies on me to help the team, then, I'll take that 100%. And I've learned a lot from him also. He's a Division I hockey player. So, I mean, he has great experience in the game too, and he's taught me different things, a lot about being a person, your mental aspect and a lot of that stuff, which has also helped me a great deal.
So, people talk a lot about trust. And I think this is a really good opportunity to dive into trust and how coaches and players earn trust. So what has Coach Mike, GM Mike, done to earn your trust?
Just by trusting me. As a 16-year-old, he has the final say in a lot of decisions, but allowing me to, play against top lines in my 16-year-old year in the playoffs with only 20 games of experience. I mean, that showed me a lot of what kind of trust he had in me as a player. And, getting that trust, I gave him the exact same trust back. So if he trusts me to be in those positions, then I'm going to trust him to, do what he asked me to do and what's going to help the team. So just that open line of communication and that trust of each other and depending on each other and not letting each other down and fulfilling each other's expectations, I think that's the biggest part.
So you're playing for Kitchener Rangers, in my opinion, one of the top three OHL organizations. What's the Kitchener Rangers and the community doing to prepare you for hopefully one day a career at the professional or the NHL level? Because obviously you're getting between 8,000 to 10,000 fans, and a lot of junior clubs don't get that. So you got to feel a little bit spoiled.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're the best organization in the whole CHL, in my opinion. I mean, we always say that we're a mini NHL market. I mean, our fans are so passionate. When you're in the town or the city, you go out, you're going to get recognized. You got to be respectful at all times. And we're community owned also. So that's another aspect where, we owe it to our fans that support us and pay money that they earn to, come support us and watch us. And then, just to, always demand the best out of yourself at the rink, away from the rink. I mean, I think that's the biggest part about being Kitchener, and it's really preparing you on how to become a pro, how to carry yourself away from the rink, how to, be an adult, be mature, and, take care of yourself and get the job done.
So, you're one of the leaders on the team, and, let's talk a little bit about the actual team and the makeup of the hockey club. Are there a couple guys on there that, are the pranksters on the team? Who's the funny guy? Who's the serious guy? And just kind of dive into what the team makeup is.
We have a good group of a mixture of all of that. I mean, I think I throw myself on the more goofy side and with the dance around, sing a little bit, a couple karaoke's here and there. And I mean, but when it comes to game time, I mean, I think some guys are looser, but I mean, we have fun. We love it. I mean, it's what everyone in that room wants to do for the rest of their life. So you have to have fun with it. You got to love it. So, I mean, even though we're loose, we have fun and we're serious and we get the job done on the ice, but we definitely enjoy it in the whole process.
For sure. Listen, it's always great to have a happy personality and to be kind of that spark plug in the dressing room. So, who else, outside of yourself, who is really taking a leadership role in that room, whether they wear a letter or not, that's going to help you, in the 2020 season. And because you're going to have high expectations again.
Yeah.
If we start up.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever the season starts, if that happens, we're going to have high expectations. But I mean, everyone's a leader in their own way. I don't think anyone's, so to say, a follower and, can't be their own person. But, I mean, right from my 16-year-old year till now, different kinds of leaders, a couple different captains, different assistant captains. You learn everything from everybody. And, one great leader I had was Connor Bunneman. He was our captain my first year. And he wasn't the most vocal guy. He wasn't a first round NHL pick like some of the other guys we had, but he really led by example and really, did the little things right, took care of himself, was really approachable to all the young guys, worked hard in practice. And I think that's the kind of leader that, I look up to. And if I'm going to be a leader one day, I think that's the kind of leader I would be and look up to him and kind of be someone like that, where you lead by example, you don't just talk the talk.
So now you've played 3 years in the OHL. I want to talk a bit about your draft experience. Let's start right at the beginning. So you're playing, obviously, it's your draft year. Do you remember who the first agent that approached you was?
I think this group called Maloney and Thompson.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't recall the details or anything, but I think that was the first one, and I think Minor Bantam.
Okay, great. And obviously, so now who have you decided to go with moving forward? And just talk about the group that's representing you.
I'm with Octagon Sports and Rob Hooper, and I mean, they've been great for me since I was, I think, 14 years old. They've always been there for me and supported me and every decision I've made in hockey career, and they've been for me there as a person and that aspect of things. I mean, they're like an extended family to me and my family, really look out for us. So, I mean, they've been great for me, and, we have great respect for each other, and, it's worked out well.
Perfect. So now they represent you. There's a couple teams that are calling you. So you go through the first and second round, and now you're into the third round. Were you expecting New Jersey? Was New Jersey one of the teams that you thought were going to look at you?
No, and I didn't talk to them a whole lot during the season, but I had a great feeling with them after the combine. Thought the interview there went really well, and my agents, I was sitting with them in the draft. They gave me a short list of teams that were possibilities for me, and New Jersey is one of them. So when they picked my name, it was a huge relief, and the world felt like it was lifted off my shoulders. Just belonging to an NHL club and what I've worked for 18 years, it finally paid off a little bit. So it was a great feeling.
Absolutely. What was that? What you said you had a good feeling. What was the meeting like, and how many people were in the meeting? Who was in the meeting?
There was about 10 people in the meeting, and
that's intimidating.
Yeah, it was. Every meeting's like that, and you're one guy. You're sitting at the end of the table, and you're getting almost interrogated by scouts, coaches, player development guys. So it's intimidating, and they're just trying to get to know you as a player, get to know you as a person, and it feels like an interrogation, but they're just there trying to get to know you. So it's all good, no harm, no foul. But with New Jersey, it was funny because Ray Shiro, who was the GM at the time, was sitting in the corner, and he pulled out his phone and showed a hit I had at the World Championships a couple months earlier. And he's talking about how great of a hit it was. And I was like, what, this is pretty good. The GM's cracking a couple jokes, so having a good feeling about this team.
That's fantastic. Now, did he get any crazy questions, whether it was New Jersey? Let's back up. My apologies. How many teams actually did you sit and interview with?
Oh, I can't remember the amount.
Really?
Quite a few. Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of teams, because all 31 teams are there. So I didn't do every team, but I did quite a few of them. Yeah, over 5 days. So.
Any questions that kind of threw you off a little bit, where you had to actually stop, gather yourself, and go, I better answer this one correctly?
There was a couple.
Do you recall what they were?
There was one about, would you rather be like a janitor or? Well, no, the question was, why are janitors important? That was the question. It was open-ended, whatever you. Yeah, so it was, really to dig into what kind of your thought processes and stuff like that. And I sat there for a second. I was like, really? Like, we're at a hockey interview, and we're trying to talk hockey and get to know me as a player, but they're asking about this, and I really had to think about myself and what it really meant, like what janitors do, and they're as big a contribution to society as everyone else. And I think that was my answer, and I think they really liked it, and it came from the heart, so it was all genuine. But I mean, I think that was the weirdest question: is why are janitors important, right? During a hockey interview, especially.
For sure. Now, did you sit down with your agency or maybe with their PR person and talk about how to answer questions in interviews, or at least get some practice at it? Or was it just, I'm going in there, don't talk to me, I want to do this myself because I can do it?
They gave me pointers, just giving me a heads up of what it would be like. But, they never told me how to answer questions because, then it'd be fabricated and scripted, and it wouldn't come from me because they're there to get to know you as a person. So I think the biggest thing for me was just being myself, answering the questions, whatever it comes from the heart, what kind of person I am. I think that's going to help you longer in the long run rather than, planning your answers to tell them what they want to hear, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So now you're drafted in New Jersey. Did you end up attending camp?
Yeah. So we had a development camp in July and then rookie camp and main camp in September. Yeah. So
Great. And what was that experience like? Like, was it an eye-opening experience for you?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, getting there in rookie camp and seeing Jersey City and all that stuff in Newark, it was awesome. My first time at the rink and meeting, all the coaching staff and the trainers and stuff, that was really awesome. And seeing the facilities they have, it was really eye-opening and it was real special to go there for the first time, right? And then,
did the guys take care of you?
Oh yeah, you get treated like a pro right from day one, right?
Yeah. Did you grab any swag on the way back though? You kept everything they gave you for sure?
Yeah. Got the equipment. I think I wore it that whole summer.
Nice. Oh, you gotta wear it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have to wear it. That's fantastic. So what have you been doing in quarantine now? So who are you back on the ice, and if so, who are you skating with?
Yeah, I'm back on the ice. I'm skating with Don Bray and Ray LeBlanc, and both in Etobicoke. So just working
little speed action. Yeah. They represent our club too. Ray's fantastic. So a little free plug for them. No big deal. You're welcome. You're welcome, Ray. If you hear this,
shout out Razor. Yeah.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah, no, they do a great job there. And what I guess what's he been teaching in the last few weeks?
He's really technical with hand stuff and moves and how to evade pressure and zone entries and stuff like that. So I think it's a big aspect of my game and trying to improve that aspect to become a more complete player and better all around.
Perfect. So now you're coming into the season. It's it's going to be, again, you guys got a good hockey club. Who else in your division is going to be really tough this year?
It's hard to say with the COVID going on and all this stuff, who's going to be back, who's going to play in the American League, who our team's losing, all that stuff. So I think it's all up in the air. Like London's always good. Guelph's usually good. They might take a step back since they made their run a couple years ago. But, I mean, we have the toughest division in the OHL, I think. So every team's good and, we play them a lot. So we have a demanding schedule.
Yeah, and what are you going to do to stand out this year as a player?
I think just be myself and try and dominate. Be hard on pucks, be someone no one wants to play against on any night. Guys coming to the odd, they're thinking, oh, shit, we got to play Vooks again. They're not excited about that. I think that's what I thrive off of, and I love hearing that and love seeing that stuff.
Yeah. So you and I just quickly talked before the show started. So for anybody that's watching, and again, this is going to be episode 18 on Off the Puck Hockey. You can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and obviously on the Barn Burner Network, right beside Don Cherry's podcast. Just throwing that in there. We've met a long time ago. It was about 4 or 5 years ago, but at a spring team, and the coach was Jim Hughes, myself. And you do me a favor, list some of the players that were on that team. Do you remember?
We had Hughesy, we had Turk, so Alex Turcotte, myself. Who else on that team? I think Philip Tomasino. Who else on that team?
We had studs, and I remember Lindsay asking me to help with Jim, and obviously not knowing who you were, but I remember coaching that first game, going like, "We're gonna win this, and we're gonna win it big." And there's some really good hockey players there, but I remember seeing Tommy's. Obviously, Hughesy was a hell of a hockey player. Even at the time, you'd see his elite vision, his speed. But more importantly, not the two that stuck out to me though were you and Turcotte. And I remember coming home and telling my wife, I said, "Listen, I coached this kid, and I think he's going to be an NHL player. Like I really believe like this. He has everything going for him. Big, can shoot, good vision." Strong, got a little bit of a chip, and he seems like a decent guy. Talking about you, and then obviously Turk's just absolute beast, like good power forward, strong, and just made plays all over the ice. Have you got to talk? Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 40 of Off the Puck Hockey. I'm your host, Tyler Fines. You can catch Off the Puck on Rogers Channel 20 every Saturday night at 9 p.m. You can also view our live recordings on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Just follow at Off the Puck Hockey for dates and times to check us out. Off the Puck Hockey welcomes our newest sponsor, Hockey Shot. Hockey Shot is your go-to online specialty retailer of hockey training equipment. They're revolutionizing hockey skills around the world by offering fun, innovative, and accessible training aids to work on your skating, stick handling, shooting, passing, and more. Hockey Shot is focused on making you a better hockey player, not only with training aids, but the best training content, drills, tips, programs designed with the help of top professional athletes, coaches, and more. Visit hockeyshot.com and learn more. The future of hockey starts now. Let me introduce you to the boys. As always, you got Adam Stiles and Mikey Walker. What's going on, boys?
Hey, how are you, man? What's going on?
Finds you, how are
Mikey
you?
doesn't know how to say hi or what?
I thought Adam was going to elaborate a little more.
Holy, yeah, he stopped doing that, eh? He started always, he's like, hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I'm good.
Short, sweet.
Good. Yeah, nice and easy, thanks. and it's funny, tonight we actually welcome our sponsor, like Wayne's World back in 1992. Kyle Kokotailo from Hockey Shot. What's going on? Tylo.
What's going on, fellas? Yeah,
almost nailed it.
Almost
nailed it.
You almost nailed it,
almost
man.
nailed it. I screwed up.
Yeah, it was close though. I respected it. It was good. It was good.
Anyways, listen, thanks for joining us, and we're excited to have you on and talk a little bit about your company. You got Christmas coming around, so it's great. We get to plug you guys and talk a little bit about Hockey Shot.
Yeah, boys. I think this kind of stuff's important. I think it's always like we're always trying to connect with coaches and kind of just that local hockey community. Like as a hockey business, like this is where our bread and butter is, right? Is being able to connect with coaches, be able to talk to the small town guys out in Port Dover and everywhere else. Right? It's always exciting to connect with guys in the hockey, and that's my whole job, right? Is being able to connect with guys in hockey and kind of just shoot the shit and be able to kind of explore what's going on around the game, right?
Yeah. So what exactly is your job there?
Yeah,
that's a good question. I like to
call
myself more
question.
of a, hey, I like to call myself more of a utility player, right? I'm just trying to make the rest of the boys look good. But I truthfully, I live in between a lot of different business segments. So primarily on the content and digital side. So, we work with a ton of different creators across the game, across the world. So everyone from Barkov in Finland right now, we're working on creating content with him for players. We just launched one of a kit that he had designed, and, to Tyler Sagan, who's down in Dallas, trying to get content out of him with his new kit to, guys local here. We got Pavel Barber and just this like really wide ranging, roster of guys. And so that's mainly where I live is in the education and content creation side. And it's the fun part of the business, right? For the most part. So that's my job, if you want to call it that.
Nice.
So yeah, Kyle, touch on a couple of your products, like what you have and what they kind of focus on.
Yeah, so Hockey Shot was kind of born just out of not having enough tools for hockey players. So there's been this real kind of transition, and I mean, Hockey Shot was born, I think we're into 2 decades now ago from just a garage in Dieppe, New Brunswick, right? So it's come a long ways, but essentially it's truly just trying to create the best tools for hockey players. So that was originally the dangle products in the garage to the targets and everything else. So now we create products right up to synthetic ice. I think we probably have the best synthetic ice on the market. Not probably, I've skated on them all. We do have the best synthetic ice on the market. To overspeed training, which we're seeing is a huge trend in hockey development right now, to at home tarps and targets and everything in between. So without getting too product preachy, it's really if you're working on any sort of skill, if you have a skill deficiency or gap, like we probably have some sort of tool that's going to help you maximize that at home, right? So, I mean, if there's one you want to hone in on specifically, but I personally, if I'll go a little deeper for you there, Adam. But personally, like I was a power skating guy, so that was kind of my wheelhouse, and I had skated on the synthetic ice, maybe 5 or 6. Probably longer, maybe a decade ago, and I absolutely hated it. It was absolutely brutal. But coming to Hockey Shot, I've been a Hockey Shot for a little over a year now. Like the product is outrageously good. So we just had two hockey guys with barbs out, kind of shooting some stick handling stuff with him, and just the edge work and stuff was so on point to actual gameplay that it was just phenomenal. So if I'm choosing my favorite product, probably the Extreme Glide synthetic ice right now. It's a game changer for players because it's truly like they say say that our engineers say it's 10% different than real ice, but I think you'd be hard pressed once you get used to it to notice a real difference personally.
Nice. And like, who's Hockey Shop for? What age groups? What skill sets?
Yeah, I mean, look, coming back to it, like I don't think there's a any segment of hockey that's you couldn't find something, right? Like if you're a junior player, like we got the dryland tiles, we got I love the puck. We got this super smooth rolling puck. Like there really is a product for everyone, right? Right up to the pros. Like we are surely over 100 pros right now have our products and are actively using them in the training. We're, with at least a dozen NHL teams are using it in practices, the skill coaches. So it's tough to kind of say, hey, like this is the segment we really have our bread and butter in, because you always think like, oh, this is a product for kids. And then you see, an NHL player just absolutely ripping through it. So, I mean, it is truly one of those things that if you're from PB to pro right now, like you can find some sort of hockey shop product that's going to take your training to the next level for sure.
Nice. Beautiful.
So Kyle, I'm just kind of curious, just with your synthetic ice squares, how much does it differ from an actual ice surface? And I mean, how similar is it to an ice surface at the same time?
Yeah, so good question. Like it's funny because guys have skated on the old stuff. Absolutely, they hate it. Like anyone, especially like I was a bigger fella playing, right? So you come over 200 and it's like you're skating in sand in the old stuff, right? So the new stuff, like it's unbelievable. Like I truly, like I genuinely enjoy the edge work in it. There's other competitors that are coming out with stuff that's faster, but it's like it's become too fast where it doesn't feel like you're not getting that edge glide. You can barely stop. Like you can glide, right? But like our engineers have just found that sweet spot of like the glide to grip. Like I don't think there's anything better to describe it, because it's like as a player you want to have that confidence to be able to grip in and have a cut either way. So I love it, truthfully, the extreme glide. Now we have like I wouldn't call it a lower quality tile, but like obviously it's like the Cadillac in my opinion is that extreme glide. But we do have like home based stuff, the Rev tile, Revolution tile that's really mint as well, like a little bit more of a younger player. Again, like I've always found as a bigger guy, truthfully, like it's getting off the ice like is a struggle sometimes, right? But yeah, I mean that extreme glide, like I went for a rip the other day and I was like, this is good. So that's not to dunk on the reptile at all. Like I think it's still a good product. I've skated on it recently too, and I'm always impressed. But yeah, I mean that extreme glide, they say the coefficient of friction, if we want to get scientific here, is like a 10% to 12% difference. But again, like I think once you're out there ripping, you really don't. It's like a pond, right? Like you're gonna notice it against fresh ice, but
yeah.
I mean it's close, man. It really is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, what obviously you got Christmas coming up and things like that. What's been selling real good for you guys?
Oh man, so the extreme glide has been going crazy. I think less so around Christmas. Like the trend right now, obviously, is train at home, right? Like we're in this unique time period where guys just they can't get to the rink, right? Still instructors. I mean, I'm here in Oakville, they're capped at 10, right? I go 20 minutes east, they're shut down, right? So it's one of those things where it's like guys went through this lull of like, oh my God, I got to get training tools in the spring, right? And then they went through this lull of like, I don't know what's happening. And so we're finding a lot of players are really, it's been a big year for us because so many players are training at home, truthfully, and we've got the tools to kind of deliver on it. So I think anything train at home right now is what's popping off, right? So if we're looking at train at home products, like I really enjoy the targets. We've got great like sliding pucks you can use on a garage floor. They feel just as good as on ice. So I think any train at home products, I think that's a trend across hockey, truthfully, man. It's like we had this trend we're even seeing a lot of pros who are not only building home gyms, but are like, okay, I want to get some synthetic ice, because it's like they need to take control of their training, right? So it's one of those things that I think it's going to be a trend longer term too, where players are saying like, hey, like it's great to go out and see the skills coach, and like you're never going to replace high quality instruction. But if you're going to like a low, like if you're not super happy with your skills coach, or you're just looking to get those extra reps in. It's like, okay, well, you can be doing a lot of work at home, right? And it's beyond the days. Like when I was playing, it was just, and I'm sure you guys as well, it was just, we're just ripping pucks at, random stuff on dad's garage.
Shooting at the garage door.
Yeah. And you got dents, and every time there's a new dent, like dad's going to say something, right? So it's, from the tarps to the shooting pads, like it's just, I think we all wish, right? Like we had access to these tools. So I think if to come back to answer your question, I think the home training stuff, if you want to talk skills coaches, like what's popping off right now is the overspeed stuff. So we have a tool called the Rush Defender that puts players into like a step over. We're focusing on like a linear crossover that is very tight. So it's a linear crossover over a cord, and then you're right into some sort of edge work to come back. Super, super valuable tool because it is like a true overspeed training tool. But really, like I personally am most excited with players that are just creating their own little home setup, like taking training into their own hands for the most part.
Yeah. What made you get into hockey? Like, how'd you get into hockey shot?
So it's funny. I came out of the strength and conditioning world. I was in hockey development before that, and then came into strength and conditioning, and then I had a knack for content. And so when I was looking for companies to kind of get involved with, like Hockey Shot was by far number one. I genuinely enjoy what they're putting out and their products as well. So I got involved simply because of that. I reached out. I was like, hey, like I like this stuff you guys are doing, and definitely want to be involved. And an area that I wanted to contribute to was there were so many good like a roster of creators that they were, doing collabs with, but a lot of the content was not necessarily like education driven, which it used to be like very education driven. Like that's something JP and Paul obviously built the business around was being very education driven. And so that was kind of something I wanted to get involved in was let's really take it to the next level in terms of the content we're putting out. Like there's a ton of fun hockey, stuff these days, but we have this, this network of just phenomenal coaches across North America, across Europe's blowing up for us right now. Like we have these phenomenal coaches, and so it's like let's try and take content to the next level. So that's how I got involved, and we're having a lot of fun. Like the guys are just they're getting so creative with content, and they're putting out stuff that again, I'm jealous of the young players because it's like you can watch drills that guys are doing, from some of the best coaches in the world, not to mention just pure creators, right? So it's it's a cool opportunity to be able to interact with these guys and work with them to create content and show like different ways to use the products and just in general, like how to take your game to the next level. That's really what Hockey Shot's all about, right?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about all the cool opportunities you had and all the pros and influencers and stuff. You've done some cool things, from playing in the desert with Barkov to playing on the beach with Barkov and Barber. What was the other one? Playing on the dock there with Coach Jeremy.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure there's a couple more I'm missing or not, but were you involved in any of those? And if so, which one was your fun? Which one was the most fun for you?
Yeah, so I handed all of them. I mean, look, I think any opportunity you have to work with some of those guys, like they just love to have fun, right? Like every one of those guys just genuinely loves hockey, right? Like it's like the common denominator among guys that are creating content for hockey and they're like living hockey. It's just like they just genuinely love it, right? So unfortunately this year, like we had some fun plans. I won't tease them out because we want to, kind of roll with them for 21, hopefully. But I mean, the COVID kind of situation is like, hey, like we can't do as many fun activations and stuff like that. But I know we have some fun stuff in the pipe, and it's just trying to get creative, over Zoom and stuff like that, which, we've got some of that kind of content coming where we still want to connect guys. And that was the whole, like that Barkov Barber one was super fun because it was connecting, two guys. Obviously Barber is well, renowned for his like stick handling and shootout moves and stuff like that. So, to put them against an actual NHL player is like super fun. Right. So, I mean, to nail down one of them is tough, but I think it's just fun all these guys love hockey. So it's fun to be able to work with them for sure.
Nice. Being a goalie myself, what kind of products do you have for goalies?
Pylon.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, that's probably one of the areas that is the most tough to innovate. You know what I mean? Like I just saw a clip of some Russian guy who made his own like hockey, like shooting like gun.
That spun around and
that thing was wild. That's crazy. That's insane.
So I mean,
like typical Russian.
Oh man. the most
Russian
Russian
training.
the most Russian thing I think I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, I mean, so for goalies, like I nothing like that. Obviously, I don't think we got the product insurance for that to put out a product like that. But I mean, no, we still create. I mean, obviously, like what's blowing up right now, man. Truthfully, and this isn't boosting, is the creases. So that is synthetic ice. Like again, like it has that nice slide. So when you see a goalie on it, like they're moving. And so a lot of goalies, like obviously goalies are, I think, a special breed because they're so obsessed with trying to find a little edge. So they're loving that synthetic ice right now. Like it's insane. I'm always surprised.
What about the virtual reality stuff? You're dipping into that.
Yeah.
Have you ever done this virtual reality, fellas? Any of you guys ever actually done it outside of Kyle? Probably
like at the Hockey Hall of Fame, just that. Like
no, that's not the one.
I know
there's a couple of gems. No, there's a couple out there right now that are friggin' amazing. Like especially if you can get in the booth, like a few of them have them, like the Crease has them down in Toronto. Like it's insane.
Yeah. So Crease is a partner.
Yeah, it's all VR. Nuts.
Yeah. So it's man, that's probably one of the more innovative, products. I mean, the most innovative. It's VR, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, and we just did that's Sense Arena. We just did a collaboration with them where it's like we got the Crease, right? So essentially we created a synthetic ice crease that players could buy as a bundle, or goalies could buy as a bundle. So I mean, goalie stuff is definitely something that I think will be continued to be innovated. But right now it's like the goalies the one kid actually was at the Crease, and the kid there was like, oh yeah, I spend like 5 hours before school, after school, like I'm just on synthetic ice nonstop. It's like, man, like they go for it. Like it's they're obsessive more than the players almost, man. It's fun to watch.
Styles, let's put it this way: for $3,600 plus tax, you, sir, could be a VR goaltender. When they strap it up to your glove, they strap it onto your blocker, they strap it onto your brain, and you just stand in there, man. You never know. You might be able to bring. Yeah, you still got time. You can get to the top.
Maybe they'll see me and I'll get my shot.
Holy smokes, Walker, same thing too. If you give it to some of your junior C goalies, I bet you it's in your budget.
Well,
imagine going to your owner and telling them I'm going to get my goalies all virtual reality training equipment. Yeah. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. 100%.
This is what I need for the budget, coach.
Yeah.
No more sticks.
Like if you go on hockeyshot.com, which is it's by the way, great website that it's easy to use and see everything. But more importantly, like there's some good stuff on here. And normally I give guys crap because like I have a rule, no pylons on the ice when I practice. Right. Yeah. So that's me. I'm the Adam Oates guy. I'm the old man yelling at the cloud type guy, not the pep guy. Right. Yeah. So for me, I look at this and and there's value in it. And not only that, I see, I really like when products actually do make a difference in a kid's or in a professional's life.
Well, yeah, and I mean, look, I think there's a place for each, right? Like I was always when I was teaching on ice, I was like, man, like all of these guys they're going so gimmicky with their practices. It's just that they're just, and you see some of these guys are bringing out more tools. Yeah, I mean, like they're bringing out bags and bags of tools, and it's goofy. But I think we've like kind of found like what are the difference makers, right? And how can they be applied, right? Like
I like that stick handling weight. Like that's a sweet one.
Yeah,
but it is. Like it's a little things like that. Like I would rather get my entire team like a bunch of stick handling weights.
Yeah.
Right, as opposed to getting them, just like a gimmick that that some guy come up and try to sell me.
Yeah.
Right? Like I really like that. Like those are little things like that I think make hockey players.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's some cool tools. Again, it's all how you use it, right? Like if your entire practice is going to be based around training tools, when it's like you're missing a lot, right? But if you have an opportunity to use a tool and it can tease out a specific development need of a player, right? Like I think it's challenging, like doing. And again, this is not necessarily for the average team, right? But if you're a skills coach, like I do think there's tools that we have that are useful, right? That you might not be able to do.
The 4-way passer. That's sick. I actually want one of those. I've been dying to get me one of those. Have you seen those walks?
Dude.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty.
I love those, man. I have to get those. Like they're so good and they're so useful. You can actually use them. Like it doesn't matter on the ice, off the ice, whatever. You just, and again, it works pretty well. A few times I've had to give it a little kick, but it's where I love them.
Well, and it gets rid of the assistant coach just sending, pucks right in guys' skates.
Plugs on you. Yeah. Oh, whoa. Styles is going to be offended by that. You're just yourself, buddy. I mean, you played a little bit. I mean, you got you on here. Might as well talk about it. So I see you were born in Orangeville.
Yes, sir.
I'm an Orangeville boy too. Did you go to school in Orangeville, or did you just get born there and they put it on Elite Prospects that's where you were born?
Literally that. I got out of there real fast, but
parents were driving by and had to pull over to give birth, and then drove back to Oakville.
Yeah, quick rip. Didn't want to spend any time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. So you were in Orangeville. So where'd you grow up then?
Oakville. I'm an Oakville.
Oh, you did grow up in Oakville. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I seen. Like I said, of course, we got to look up our guests if we're gonna have them on, and we got to give them crap, right?
No doubt. We got to look.
Yeah, I played a little bit of, and with Milton and the OJ. Had a little bit of a little junior A career, which is good. You're a D man. Put up 130. You're captain of Burlington Cougars.
Yes, sir.
Wow, first year too. Tell me, I want to hear that conversation. You don't see too many guys. You don't see too many guys become captain in their first year coming out from. You're out with the Metro Shipbuilders out there.
Great. First of all, great team name. One of the best in Canada.
That is a great name, actually.
You wouldn't know in Halifax. So we're getting off hockey shot for a second, but they had renamed that team from there's a great name. I think it was the Halifax Wolverines or something. And the new owner came in and said, "Hey, we're going to do a rebrand." And I was amped up. They had sold me on that. I went out to try for the Moose originally, and they're like, "Oh, come play Junior A." I said, "I love Halifax. Let's do it." And then they did the big unveil, and it was the Metro Shipbuilders. And that was like I've never seen a team name as bad. But yeah, I mean, I got dealt the following year to Burlington. It was a 20 bomb. Just kind of stepped into an interesting role. The OJ is a different league, man, and it's. I had a lot of fun out in the Maritimes. Like it's a league I'd recommend to literally anyone. Like it was such a good time. It's that true like kind of like early 2000s 90s kind of league, right? Where you get the fans are absolutely wild in every city you go into, little town you go into, and you get guys coming down from the queue just finished their 20 fights and they're trying to get some paycheck in the Maritimes league. It's a fun league for sure. So coming to the OJ, it was a different experience to say the least, but it was fun.
Yeah, then you tried your hand a little senior Dundas. Played with Benny Barisha, Aaron Barisha's brother, who was a guest on the show.
Aaron
Barisha was a guest on our show a couple weeks ago. Actually, was absolutely.
Aaron's big time, but Benny's got some stories, man. He's Aaron's a stud. Benny, yeah. So it's funny. I actually fought Benny in the Maritimes League. He speared me in the neck and
took up my skate and tried to stab somebody.
Yeah, no, it was pretty close, but senior was an absolute rip. I was recruited U of T. I mean, you can see the numbers, you can see why I didn't last, but the senior league was just an absolute blast. And we won it was a year after I played for Dundas Real McCoys. It was a year after they won the Allen Cup, and so there were a lot of those guys kicking around. And
I forgot Cam Watson was on that team. You had Cam Watson. If anyone doesn't know who Cam Watson is, 89 points junior B, goes to Western Michigan out of junior B, lights it up, and then comes home and is a lifer with the Dundas Real McCoys.
Lifer, man.
Yeah, I played against him. Played against for 2 years in the Gouge, man. The guy was a good hockey player.
Dude, he was a good hockey player at third. I don't know how old he is, but he could play, man. I to be fair, I think he's still playing. He's
still going. If they would have played, he would have definitely played. He probably would have made the show if he would have had hockey shot back then.
Yeah, I mean, hey, hockey shot's great, but I don't know about that last statement. But
he could, man. Yeah. Cam was a hell of a hockey player, man.
Waddy was a phenomenal.
Oh yeah, he was a
great
good
guy. I think he was captain
Adam
of the year
Roth.
too.
Adam Roth, holy, that team. There were some really good hockey players that ended up making it out there.
Yeah, it was fun, man. It's I don't know, like again, it's one of those things where it's like you stumble into a rink, one Friday night to catch a senior game, and it's like half the names half the names you don't know, but it's like, oh my god, they're good hockey players, right? So it's a fun league, man. It's super underrated value in that GTA area. Like it's a gem of hockey for sure.
For sure.
Back to hockey shot, Kyle.
Just to touch on Cam.
Oh, there we go.
Just to touch on Cam Watson quickly here. He played last year. He had 7 games, 7 points.
Yeah, he's a point per game guy. Yeah, that's it. Just show up to your job.
Yeah. And how old does it say how old? Like he can play, man. What he's
Man, well look. I'm just quickly looking, man. You had Kyle Helms went over to play Germany.
yeah.
Jordan Bonneville, who was a sneaky good player. Ryan Ford, like I mean, those are the junior B guys that kind of end up playing on just a little, played a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's just they played a little bit in the Coast, a little bit in the OJ. So really, damn, there's some good hockey players in that team.
He's 34.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's a year younger than I was. A year younger than me. He was much better than I was too.
Good player, man. Good player.
Yeah, Kyle, back to hockey shot. What kind, like, if someone is looking to buy tiles, what's like the minimum size you'd say to go with?
NHL.
Oh, man.
NHL size.
Yeah.
NHL barn.
Dude, we have this place, a partner in London, man, Cosgrove Hockey, who he's got a full setup, man, and it's unbelievable. Like it's yeah. So I don't know. So obviously not a full setup, but I mean, there's more and more training centers that are doing the full setup. It's one of those things where it's like if you have a little extra real estate as a gym guy, a lot of guys are putting in shooting pads. We're putting one in Oakville soon. Limitless with Paul Ferry. So there's a lot of guys who are adding in the shooting options, but it's one of those things. And we've got a partner in Detroit, PHT Hockey, who just threw in like a half gym, half hockey space, and he's doing full edge work and everything. Like he's got a sick setup. So if you're teaching, obviously, as much space as you can allocate to synthetic ice, I think is a huge win. But if it's at home, like again, if you're going with the reptiles and you just want to rip pucks, like obviously we have a dry land tile, it's just your shoes only. The reptile, it's like, okay, you can do a little more, some skating. It might not be like if edge work is your focus, that might not be the perfect product, right? But it's going to give you a real feel. And then if you want to go like extreme glide and get that like real feel, it's like the more the merrier, right? Like we've seen full garages. We've seen these. So we just saw a family that did like a full setup, their whole backyard, man. Like it's crazy. So I'd say the more the merrier, truthfully, and it depends on your goals. Like if you want to actually skate, get a good size, like commit to it and make it a thing. When you look at the pricing compared to have it like being out there on just nonstop, power skating and this and that, like it turns out eventually, right? So if you got kids, it's a no-brainer in my opinion. It's just one of those things you wish, right? You hear all these guys growing up, they got the ice, and sometimes in the GTA it's just not possible in the backyard, right? So it's I think it's kind of the next level of you got it year round, 24 hours, right? There's no reason to not be on the ice.
Absolutely. And what you touch on a little bit, but what is the best setup you've seen? Was it the one in London there? Or?
Yeah, facility wise, like they're so nice, man. It's like they've done a really good job. Like that's Cosgrove, Harry Cosgrove out in London, and yeah, he's put together like this really like super crisp, beautiful setup, really big. So it's like you can see guys just absolutely rip out there. And it's when we have like, hey, like let's show how good it is. Like that's the place where it's like you should check it out. But yeah, I mean I think we've got the most training centers in the world.
Wow.
Our Extreme Glide. Yeah. So it's kind of the go-to. Obviously there's a European business that does, some good, sets up some nice stuff, but it's a different tile. So, here in North America, absolutely. We've got the most. But yeah, I mean, there's, if we're talking home setups, like some of the backyards you see, man, are just outrageous. Like
I think some on the social media there's some.
You see, this guy out in Markham just put his boards up. Oh my God, I was showing it on Instagram. I was like, Jesus,
it's crazy, man.
For his daughter. Oh yeah, synthetic.
Synthetic.
I don't know where he got it from. I'm hoping it's Hockey Shot. I'll give him a call. I'll make sure. Next time I'll make sure. You guys come, like I said, you come fit our rink. We got a shooting pad in Toronto, a rink called the Hockey Factory. And we got a shooting pad there and a full gym. And obviously we'd love to have, you guys come in, take a little look. Yeah, hopefully my boss is going to listen to this and he and take my advice.
Yeah.
He doesn't take it very often. But
hey man, but seriously, but seriously, man, it's one of those things. Like it's a huge add to any business, right? Like if we actually want to talk about it, like there's hockey instructors that obviously this is the perfect time where it's like, hey man, like I can't commit to getting ice nonstop, right? And so it's just like if you have a gym, you got that extra real estate. It's going to pay off as an investment super fast, right?
Like speaking of which, just as you touched on, sorry to cut you off, but what's the ideal space that you need? what's the ideal space? And I guess I mean, let's say you just want to do shooting. Looking at like 10 by 10.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's
everyone's different, right?
Yeah, I would say like I'm always in the mindset of like let guys rip a little, right? Like if you want to have like a shooting space where it's like, okay, like I rather have a guy be able to get a little momentum and actually get the rip in, or have some sort of cut, and like I rather give them a little more. So
okay,
I'm trying to think, like we just did one in Oakville, and so instead of having like he has 3 individual shooting lanes, and he's still in design, he's setting it up later this month, but instead of having like 3 shooting lanes, we did one big surface. And so now instead he can have players that can fully have the one-timer space and like just be able to make cuts and shoot. So the more the merrier, truthfully. But again, it's one of those things where it's, hey, if you got 10 by 10, like let's do it 10 by 10, right? Like the panel's cut, like it's, you can customize any of this stuff, right? So yeah, it's it depends on what you got personally. But no, I think it's, I personally, like if I was building a gym today, it'd be one of those things like, let's set some space aside for some synthetic ice for sure.
Love that.
So,
well, you're gonna walk against some in your house?
Well, we might be able to do something once we get the rentals done.
Just throw it in the
budget.
Throw it in the exactly. Just sneak it in there. $1,000.
Yeah, wife won't even notice, man.
Yeah. What's this fiberglass for? Oh, it's the new type, new drywall. New drywall. Yeah. What's on the floor?
To be fair, Walks. Hey, to be fair, you can park on it. So you could just do your garage in it, and
that's a spicy meatball. Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah,
do your garage. Yeah.
I mean, hey, you whip out the car, you got a skatable space. Otherwise, it's like you got a nasty garage floor, man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like it doesn't look too bad. Like that's a crazy part. Like people probably ask, like, hey, like why'd you? It kind of looks like cement. Well, not cement, but like almost like you painted it, kind of.
Yeah, super smooth. Like I don't know, compared to a garage floor, it's
now curious question. I know Mike's or Walks has got one, but curious question. When you lay it down, just snap it in. Is that it, or do you guys seal it?
No, man, that's it.
Just slide it in, just like puzzle pieces.
And so the rev tiles, you literally it sounds like you're a chiropractor just popping spines, right?
Oh,
and then the extreme glide, you need a hammer, right? And then it's just like boom, boom, boom. There's 3 pieces, they click together and they come up. Like that's the crazy thing. So it's
nice.
It's super nice, man. Everyone thinks it's like a labor. We just did a big setup in Toronto, and it didn't take us an hour at all. Like it's pretty crazy.
And does it how long does it last? Does it last like lifetime, or does it eventually wear down?
So it's funny, man, because the old stuff, wore down, but the new stuff you used to have to basically like slip and slide it. Like there was this like gnarly spray that like after the old place that I skated at, it was like once a week, they'd spray this just like raw chemical on it. But the new stuff basically has a similar chemical, obviously not quite as gnarly, but it's like actually in the panels. So as you skate, it actually gets better. Like it's crazy. Like it's this like anti-Zamboni in the fact that the more you skate, the better the surface actually gets. So I think we do have a timeline on it of like, hey, like you're still gonna have max performance after like, I don't want to say something that's not true, but I feel like it's like a decade. Like it's not gonna go to trash in definitely like 5 years, right? Like it's a long time, because it is like from top to bottom, depending on the thickness you're getting, like it's all in, that lubricant is built into it, right? So it's impressive, man. Like it's worth getting out, depending on where you guys are at. Like you should find a partner that's got it, and I don't know, maybe convince Walks to throw it in the garage. And
I'll have to talk about that, Walks.
Right.
Yeah. Perfect.
My question is just kind of piggybacked off that, is when guys are skating on it, how effective is a cut digging into that synthetic ice?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd love to throw some video at you guys, because it literally, man, like you have guys that are doing mohawks perfectly. Like you have guys that are doing stops perfectly. Sometimes, so blades heat up just like they do on ice, right? Yep. It's just like the more heat you got in the blade, the better the cut, right? So once you get that in synthetic ice, and it's usually like 2 minutes, it's like crisp, man. Like it's shocking. So sometimes guys will get on, especially if they haven't done it before. Like it's a little it feels a little sticky, right? But I mean, 2 or 3 minutes, they find like, okay, they got to change the foot pattern a little bit, like a tiny bit, and then they've got the heat of the blades, and they're out ripping. So I've seen, I mean, the shoot we just did with Barber, like he was stick handling and using just mohawks continuously around this training product for like 45 seconds, and just like like it looked like it was on ice, seriously. So edge work wise, like it's you would be hard pressed to find a real difference, especially when you went back on the ice. Like that's the goal, right? It's like, let's not build something that's too fast or too slippery that, you know, the biomechanics change, then you get back on the ice and it's like your training was almost pointless, right?
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And it sounds like you guys are doing great work. Kyle, plug your Insta and plug your Twitter for us.
Hey, you know what? Just Hockey Shot, man. I'm
just Hockey Shot.
Just Hockey Shot right now. I mean, if you want to reach out to me personally, like I do, like I'm a Twitter guy. You hit me up.
What's the Hockey Shot Twitter? Just that Hockey Shot?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Caught him off guard.
Yeah, you search it, that'll pop up. But Instagram, man, we're trying to put out a ton of good stuff. Like it's all, you know, it's not business driven, right? It truly is to try and put out the best content for players and coaches. And, you know, we've got so many fun collaborations in the pipeline. That's one of those things where it's like, it's every day, like, you know, you're seeing new stuff from coaches that's just trying to help you get better. So I'm proud of the work that, you know, we're doing over on social. And if you're a hockey guy, like that's a place you should be hanging out for sure.
Well, listen, we're proud that you're a sponsor of us, and we really appreciate you guys jumping on board with Off the Puck, and really appreciate you coming on and talking about Hockey Shot, and really wish you guys the best of success moving forward.
Boys, I appreciate it. This was awesome, and I love where you guys are headed. So it's excited to jump on board.
We're trying our best, but I want to thank our guest, Kyle Kokotailo, nailed it, for joining the show today. Just a reminder, Off the Puck can be seen every Saturday at 9 p.m. on Rogers Channel 20. Also, special thanks go out to our new sponsor, Hockey Shot. Improve your skills on and off the ice with Hockey Shot's extensive line of training products. Hockey Shot is focused on using the latest technology to develop unique products that are versatile, affordable, and the highest quality to support the growth of every player's abilities. Players worldwide are using Hockey Shot products to take their skills to the next level. And if you're looking to elevate your game, visit hockeyshot.com to learn more. I'm your host, Tyler Fines. With me, as always, are my boys, co-hosts, Adam Stiles, Mikey Walker, our producer, Matt, behind the scenes, making the magic happen, and Marty Zilstra for always providing the theme music. This is Off the Puck Hockey, Rogers Channel 20. Let's go.